Hi, here again to talk about Brexit again. It's now the 26th of March 2019 and 3 days away from what was meant to be the deadline for leaving the European Union, well, the end of Article 50, with a deal which was meant to pave the way for future negotiations with the European Union. And unfortunately, or fortunately in some cases, depending which side of the fence you are on, we've got to the stage where Theresa May cannot get her deal through Parliament for one reason or another. And today I'm going to speak to you about one of the options in a series of videos which I plan to make in over the next few days of options other than a no deal exit, which ironically is what Theresa May and her government said that would happen if they didn't reach a conclusion, an amicable conclusion, by the 29th of March of 2019. So today I'm going to talk to you about the Norway deal. So here goes. So, what have we got with the Norway deal? Well, we've got the softest of Brexits that you can ever imagine. The Norway deal would mean that the UK would basically be still part of the customs union, and it would also mean, and by being part of the customs union, it would mean that free trade would go from the European Union to the UK with little or no problem at all. And to some, that would mean a better deal for insofar as that Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland would not have to face the ordeal of a potential hard border between the two states. And that's extremely important for those who live in Northern Ireland, because no one in their right mind wants to go back to the way it was before. A hard border in Northern Ireland, and the way that people are in Northern Ireland and the Republic, it would mean stepping back in time to 20 years ago plus, where the friction between the two communities would, well, hopefully not, but potentially could result in conflict again, and nobody wants to go back to that. So a Norway deal would prevent that from happening. We'd still be part of the European Free Trade Area, so again, we would still be able to trade with each other on our own terms, but basically within the same rules that we have now. It would also mean that we would still be part of the European Economic Area. Again, this is good for business, especially if you're trading within the European Union, because it would mean there'd be no tariffs or any controls levied between the two different areas. Now, the only thing that I can see that would be a drawback to those who wanted a harder Brexit would be the fact that the United Kingdom would still be part of the European Union in every aspect, apart from the fact that they would have no say in the running of the organisation. They'd still be they'd still be under the influence of the European Court of Justice, and they'd be bound by European law. Again, hard Brexiters would not like this, because that's why lots of people voted to leave the European Union, so they wouldn't be dominated by these laws which they feel that shouldn't be placed upon the UK citizen. Now, I can't see any advantage of being part of such a deal, as in the Norway deal, because the reason why the majority of people voted to leave the European Union was because of freedom of movement. Although I'm not personally bothered about that, the majority of people, I think, voted against being part of the European Union was because they wanted to prevent people from coming in from the European Union into the United Kingdom without any checks, without any sort of skills to contribute towards the local society or indeed the local economy. So it's not looking good for the Norway plan. So the positives are that the Norway plan model, for want of a better word, would have the least damage from a business point of view to the United Kingdom's economy. But it would again involve the United Kingdom being still pretty much tied to the European Union with its laws, with its and all those other constraints which a lot of Brexiteers didn't really fancy, and that's why they voted to leave. So again, the Norway model wouldn't particularly work for those individuals. And again, freedom of movement, which seems to be the major crux of the matter, the reason why the majority of people voted to leave the European Union, voted to leave. It matters not whether everyone agrees with that particular viewpoint. That's why I think that the majority of people did vote to leave the European Union. And to be perfectly honest with you, if you were to follow the Norway model, you are actually making a back step, because we've got all those constraints already as members of the European Union, i.e. we are subject to European law, we've got freedom of movement, we've got the customs union, we've got the European the European Free Trade Area, we've got the European Economic Area, and we've got the right to veto certain rules. We've got the right to implement certain things. We've got seats in the European Parliament. Whereas if we followed the Norway model, we would have to abide by all those rules, but have no say in the European Union. And from a personal point of view, I've always thought that we should either be completely in the European Union and have the full say of everything that goes on, or completely out. We cannot be 1 foot in and 1 foot out. It has to be either all in or all out, and that's the way I've always thought about things. I'm not I'm not against the European Union. I'm just against the United Kingdom really being half and half. The United Kingdom have never ever been fully in the European Union, and unfortunately, in the 1970s, when the people of that time voted to be part of the European Economic Community, they voted in. They voted to be part of that for business. They didn't vote for the federalisation of Europe, and that's where the crux of the matter lies. I think it happened 40 years ago, well, close on 50 years ago, when the people at the time voted to become a business partnership, and over time, which they've never had any say on, become part of a federalised Europe. And the UK have always drag their feet on every single step, and that's the way it is. So there we are. That's the Norway deal. In future videos, I'm going to speak about the other options available to the United Kingdom, because, well, basically no one knows what the hell we're doing. We don't know what Theresa May is going to come up with next. We don't know what Jeremy Corbyn is going to come up with next. We don't know what Parliament's going to come up with next. We've got to just make our own conclusions. All I can see is a complete and utter mess, and we've got to sort this out somehow. That's the Norway deal. I'll see you again in the future for an explanation on all the other potential outcomes of Brexit. Thanks for watching.